Evening Boro fans, welcome to BoroFanTV in the third half with me, James Hutchinson. Following Friday evening's game against the self-proclaimed champions of Europe, there was only one person we could invite onto the show tonight. So to welcome to the show, public enemy number one in LS11, AJT. How's it going, all right?
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. Honoured to be here, thank you.
No problem, pleased to have you on. So obviously tonight we're going to look at Friday's game and the fantastic performance against Leeds. Has Tony Pulis found the magic formula to take us into the playoffs? We're going to talk about the resurgence of Patrick Bamford, as well as the continued skills displayed by Adama Traore. And what about the future of Gary Monk, taking over now at Birmingham City, who, as it would be, are our next opponents tomorrow night? Any questions, views for myself and AJT, please send them in. We welcome your views and your opinions. But firstly, we're going to go back to last November, AJT. Painful 2-1 defeat at Ellen Road against Leeds. We were second best on that day, and you seemed a tad upset after the game.
Yes.
Any regrets over your outburst?
None whatsoever.
None?
I have no regrets, mate. Nah, I meant everything I said.
Please, we've cleared that one up. That's no problem at all.
Yeah, no worries.
Back then in November, you said, I can't wait for them to come to the Riverside. But honestly, genuinely, did you expect what happened on Friday night to happen?
Do you know what? I was confident.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not joking. All week, I was confident. I was telling people, listen, Boro will torture Leeds.
Yeah.
Boro will bring it. And I even said before the game, I said 3-1 Middlesbrough, whilst being stood right next to the Leeds buses.
What give you that confidence though? Because I'll be honest, having watched the game at Sunderland the week before and the 3 goals we conceded there, and we've just seemed a little bit off colour. And I know how Leeds play, they're very much in your face and they're on the front foot, and I was a little bit concerned that would happen on Friday.
I don't know what it was. I mean, obviously, against Sunderland, it wasn't exactly fantastic. I mean, obviously, defence-wise, going forward, it was fantastic. Score 3 away from home. Conceding 3 wasn't great, but something in me I don't know, something in me just thought, Boro will hammer Leeds. I don't know what it was. I have no idea to what it was. It was kind of like the time that we went to play Bolton at the start of the season. Yeah. And I put a bet on the Monday morning, Boro 3-0, British Longer to score first. Yeah. And that was like 6 days before I played them. I won the bet, 102 quid, and had a nice balance on the night.
Fantastic, hey, that's it. Can't beat that.
It was the same kind of feeling that I had going into the Leeds game. I just felt like, Boro have to give us some sort of answer going into the Leeds game. Because, Boro couldn't have another game like Sunderland. And then, obviously, when the game kicked off, obviously, it was marvellous, it was fireworks. But, yeah, it's just something in me just told me that Boro would hammer Leeds, and that's exactly what we did, like.
Well, like I say, we're all pleased it happened. What was noticeable at the start of the game, we'll talk about the start of the game, apart from Lesogo's tights, what was going on there? What did you make of that?
I don't know what's happening there.
That was horrific,
people in Leeds must be pretty soft, like, mustn't it? Do you know what I mean?
I've not seen anybody come up the Riverside wearing tights this year
chance,
like that.
Man, no chance.
But anyway, we got in Leeds' faces and we took the game to them. That's something we've not done very often this year. Started on the front foot and like a really high tempo at the beginning of the game. Were you impressed with how we started the game?
I'd say for me it was probably one of the best the best first half I've seen performance of Middlesbrough this season, home or away. I thought it was fantastic. I thought Boro just showed them no respect. Boro went out there with a game plan and he came out. Obviously worked to perfection. And like I say, it was a fantastic performance from the middle, obviously from Boro. And yeah, like I say, Boro tortured him. It was great to watch. At half time, I remember just being stood in my seat thinking it's 2-0, and obviously we've made Leeds look worse than what everybody already knows what they are, which is absolutely terrible. But it was fantastic, man. It was fantastic.
Any concerns at half time? I know what the lads that I sit with at the game, we were all like saying, 2-0, could have been more. Were you worried that it might not be the same second half, or do you think, we're going to finish this job off tonight?
I knew Boro would come out on top, man. Listen, when obviously when I looked over to the Leeds fans at half time and I seen half the stadium was empty on their side, should I say, obviously half the away end was empty. I knew there and then, you know what I mean? Obviously their fans know how bad Leeds are. And obviously I looked over and I just thought, you poor people.
Were the police to see you?
Oh, well, I'm you know what I mean? Always. I mean, one fan before the game called me a word, then said AJT after it, and I just said, all right, mate, how's it going? It's fair to say that he turned around like I think he was going to chase after me, but it is what it is. I mean, obviously a lot of love on his side, but listen, I mean, at half time, I knew Boro were comfortable. Obviously, as you say, Boro could have been 3 or 4 up, I thought. Don't get me wrong, Leeds had chances, but
not very many, was there?
I mean, Leeds didn't really threaten us, and obviously they banged on about this Alioski bloke and this Saiz. They did nothing, and that's because I thought the Boro back line was so strong that night. It was unbelievable.
Good point. Another thing we're just going to touch on as well is the midfield. The only change from the team at Sunderland, he brought Hutchinson in for Sombalonga. Now, what did you make of the midfield the other night?
Strong.
I think that was, as a unit, that was a really good performance the other night. You had obviously Bezic, who's impressing more and more each time you see him. Hutchinson, now Leadbitter, obviously, got a question here from Jacob that's come in. Looks like Leadbitter's going to miss the next couple of games.
Yeah.
Do you think we'll miss his leadership in the middle of the park? And do you think Clayton can step up to the plate for Leadbitter?
You see, that's the thing with me. I mean, since Besic has come in, he's kind of showed Clayton the roles, in my opinion. I think it's a massive loss to Leadbitter. I'm so gutted as well when he went off against Leeds. For me, I love his passion on the pitch. You know what I mean? I love Leadbitter to bits, and like I say, you know, he's a proper leader. You know what I mean? That's what he brings to the team. He's a leader. He brings the passion. He brings that drive, determination. He brings everything, because you can see it on the pitch. I mean, if Boro aren't pulling away, he will scream at a player. Do you know what I'm saying? And for me, Adam Clayton coming for him. For me, Adam Clayton's very much defensive-minded midfielder. And you know, when we played Reading a few weeks back, he came on and Boro can't see literally 5 minutes later because he sat back. And I kind of feel like in playing, obviously, you know, obviously, Tony Pulis hasn't got much of a selection if he does have to play. But I am gutted. I am gutted the fact that he has to play. If I'm honest with you, because Besic for me, he's unbelievable, and him and Leadbitter there, I think that's a partnership. I just feel like Adam Clayton at the minute is a bit of a weak link to our midfield.
Right. Do you think maybe we might be able, the next two games being Birmingham and Barnsley, we might be able to shoulder the loss of Leadbitter for those two games, possibly?
Yeah. I mean, look, these next two games are massive, but they also are. I mean, Boro should be able to beat both of these teams. I know Birmingham got the new manager and whatnot, but I mean, you know what I mean? Obviously, when you look at Birmingham, you know what I mean, the last 5 games, I mean, they've only scored 1 goal. They haven't won in the last 5 either, you know, very poor.
I was glad they scored that goal at Forest though at the weekend towards the end of the game, so I was like thinking if they haven't scored in that game, that would have been 5 games in a row without a goal. You know, the typical Boro scenario, what'll happen on Tuesday night.
Absolutely.
But we'll touch on Birmingham in a minute. Just talking about Besic, Dion Dickerson's asking, it's a good question. How much do you think Besic is worth? Now, I know he's at Everton. Do you think we have a possibility of maybe going in for him in the summer? Do you think there'll be other clubs maybe looking at him as well?
I think if Boro were to go up, I think then Boro definitely have a chance to sign him. I think in the Championship, would he play for us in the Championship or the Premier League? It's difficult to say really, but if Boro do go up, I think Boro will stand a chance, and I think he's a player that's worth around about 15 million in my opinion. He's
been really impressive, hasn't he?
He's a fantastic player. And I say, obviously, a few people I know told me about him being out in Spain, obviously before he came to England, and they told me that he did a job on Messi and Ronaldo. Now I can see why. He's a really, really talented footballer.
Yeah. Another question, this is what we like on this show, like all different opinions from fans. This is another very different one from Stephen Moore. Leadbitter brings nothing else to the game. He's one of the worst players in the squad now. Ben Gibson is a better leader. Clayton will give Hutchinson and Besic a lot more chance to push forward. Do you make of that?
I don't agree with it, man. I'm sorry, I don't agree with it. Adam Clayton is too defensive for me. And in the summer, I know he's been here a long time, but I'll probably get rid. You know, if Boro can bring in Besic, I don't see the reason for Clayton to still be here. I don't know, I mean, no, I don't see him giving us any sort of attack if Adam Clayton's in the team. In fact, I just see us sitting pretty much defensive in the midfield.
There's an argument with Clayton that sometimes people say he provides a lot of protection for Gibson and Ayala, and that's maybe why we've done so well in the last couple of years when we were in the Championship, because of the protection Leadbitter and greater extent Clayton afforded them, because he covers a lot of ground. But like you say, when you're maybe looking for someone in home games to get the go forward balls, stuff like that, maybe Clayton's not your man, but there's still a place for him in the squad, isn't there?
I think there is. I think just, obviously, I mean, our style of play at home especially has been very much attacking. And it just worries me that when he does come on, Boro do lead goals. And it's kind of like, you know, tomorrow night away from home, it's going to be a lot harder with it being away from home. Obviously, you know, I mean, we pretty much probably will be in the team. I'm just worried that if he does play and Boro don't start right, you know, say if we don't bring the same tempo to what we brought against Leeds, and say they have the front foot, we could be in for a long night. I'm not saying just because he's in the team, I'm saying overall, because you know, because for me, it's like, what does Clayton bring to the team? You know, obviously with Leadbitter, you know he's going to drive forward, he's going to try and push the team forward. Clayton, for me, isn't that leader. He hasn't got that sort of leadership skill to say, okay, let's go forward. You know, it's more like Ben Gibson, who's obviously, or George Friend, who's going to be the sort of captain on that night. Say, right, you know, let's push up, but he doesn't push up. And that's what frustrates me about Adam Clayton, is that he's very, very defensive-minded.
But you think he'll have an important role, say, if he does play tomorrow night in a game away from him? So there will be spells tomorrow where Birmingham will have possession, they'll have ball and stuff like that. And you've got to think, you might need someone there that's going to mop things up for us and protect your back four. Clayton can do a great job there, can't he?
I say, but that's why also, even though for me it is a negative about him being so defensive-minded, he also can do a job in that sort of defensive role. You know?
During the week, obviously last week we had all the snow, and to be honest, a lot of people thought there was no way that game was going to go ahead. So big credit and a big shout out to everyone at the football club, all the volunteers that got that game on. I mean, they provided entertainment there for the 27,000, well, maybe not 2,500 from Leeds, but the rest of the crowd were pretty much entertained there on Friday night, and all the people that were watching on Sky. So like I say, that was massive, great big effort there, fantastic one. And I know Tony Pulis came out after the game and he said there, fantastic effort, like we're a can-do club and we want to do this. And it looked great on the club to get that match on. Patrick Bamford, 6 goals now in 3 games, hat-trick against Leeds obviously on Friday night. They couldn't live with him. What do you think's brought the change in fortunes around for Patrick?
I maybe just think that Tony Pulis put his arm around him in training and just said, just be yourself, just shoot. Shoot more, obviously because Patrick Bamford for me, I kind of felt sorry for him obviously out on the wing. For me, he isn't a winger. We know this now, he isn't a winger. And he's proved that he isn't a winger by playing down the middle, and he's took his chance in the middle. Obviously, it's a shame that Gusted got injured, but Bamford's more than made up for it. Obviously, Bruce Belong was sitting on the bench now thinking, shooting my time's up kind of thing. Well,
that's it. Just a question for AJT. I mean, do you think if Gusted hadn't got injured, Bamford would have had this opportunity?
Nah, I think, Tony Pulis loves Gusted, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And obviously I've spoken to Gusted briefly after the Cardiff game, and he was very positive about him wanting to score more goals to the club. And obviously our next game was Hull, wasn't it? Obviously then he got injured, and it's a shame to see him get injured. But obviously that must have opened doors for Bamford. And after that game, must have thought obviously it's a shame that he's gone off injured, but at least I've got my chance here to prove my point. But no, I do think that if Gusted was still fit, he wouldn't be. Obviously, I think he'd still be out on the wing.
And obviously, with the game being on television the other night, I think more and more people are now becoming aware of Adama Traore. But obviously, with that game going out live, it's like a catch-22 situation. You want him to do well and you want him to play well, but you then start thinking, what are our chances of holding on to win beyond this season?
I don't know. I mean, obviously Chelsea wanted him in the summer, didn't they? Reportedly, and West Ham wanted him as well. And I said it on the way. I kind of feel like if Boro are a Championship team next season, the chance I might go. That's very slim for me that he will stay and play Championship football again. Whereas if you go to the Premier League, you might keep hold of him. There's more of a chance, and that's why I think promotion is so important this season, because Borough have got some real key players there. At the minute. Obviously the likes of Besic, the likes of Traore, and even Bamford if he keeps hitting goals in the back of the net. So if you don't go up, you do fear that most of our main players will leave. So it is a concern.
And then it's like you're rebuilding again, isn't it? It's like a constant. It's like with the going up and down type thing. You're rebuilding your squad, and how long can you expect to get success if you're constantly rebuilding a squad from virtually scratch? I mean, just in case, just for argument's sake, if Traore was to go in the summer, what sort of a transfer fee do you think you'd be looking at?
I mean, he's got to go for big money. I mean, the guy's got talent.
He's
only very young as well. So as he's playing each and every game, he's also learning things, he's maturing more. For me personally, he's got to be around the £20 million mark. For the age he is and for the skill that he brings to the game, and he's only going to get better.
I mean, a lot of it is potential you're talking about, but when you're seeing players going to Man City, I know they're international players, defenders that are going to Man City for over £50 million. And if clubs like Man City and Chelsea are looking at signing Adama Traore, they've got money, so you can say, right, well, we'll name our price and see where it goes from there. But I mean, the funny thing is, I'd like your opinions on this as well, Boro fans. 3 months ago, arguably, he was probably one of the most frustrating figures in that squad. And there was a lot of people saying he doesn't, and I'll hold my hands up, I was one of them saying he doesn't have a footballing brain. You just think he's so frustrating, he's got all the pace in the world, but there's no end product. That's now there now, and you're looking at probably one of the best players in the Championship, aren't you?
100%. Him and Ryan Sessegnon. Because he's another great talent.
Well, look at what he did to Sessegnon in that game. I think I've never seen a defender so relieved that Traore got switched flanks in the second half, because that first half he tore him to bits, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Now, and as well, another great thing from Friday night was a clean sheet for that defence. After the wobbles at Sunderland the week before, the 3 goals, we looked a bit shaky off set pieces. I mean, to be honest, I hope Darren Randolph's thawed out before tomorrow night's game, because he didn't have anything to do there. He just stood for most of that game. All joking aside, were you really surprised how poor Leeds were on Friday?
I was. I thought Leeds would put more than a fight than what they did. Especially when I've watched previews leading up to the game, including Foxes and whatnot, I kind of thought, from the way people describe Leeds, I thought they were going to come with a bit more of an effort. But teams need to know that when Boro are on form, You know what I mean? That's why Boro called the mighty Boro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I think that's what's been frustrating for us this year, hasn't it, mate? Because we've been looking and waiting for a performance like that to come along. Now, it's great that it came along in a big game like that on Friday, but there's so many games we've been thinking, where is it? We know the potential's there in this squad, in this team, and they've not put it together for whatever reason. Yet it was all there on Friday night, and it was almost a complete performance. That, and obviously a clean sheet. Going back to what we had the success under Karanka with. You can build a lot of success on clean sheets, can't you? And you know then at least you've got a point and you only maybe need one goal. I mean, great that we got 3 of the night, but you only need one goal to nick the game, and it all bodes well for the rest of the season, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's more confidence each and every game. You know, keeping performances like you did against Leeds, and the momentum and the confidence is going to go throughout the team. And I think it's important that if you do obviously get to the playoffs, we have to win them. Otherwise, I kind of see it as like if Boro do all that hard work to get to the playoffs and obviously go to the final. If we lose and have to sit in Wembley again and face that heartbreak that I faced against Norwich, it's going to devastate. But you kind of think, well, what was kind of the point of all that build-up? You know, just to be disappointed again. So for me, if you do it, you have to set history. You have to win at Wembley for the first time, and that should be a thing in itself for the players, in my opinion. You know, if you're going to Wembley as a player and you know Middlesbrough never ever won at Wembley, surely you want to make that legacy of obviously. Look at the 2004 World Cup. Them players there are like legends because they won us the first trophy in 128 years. So for me, that's got to be everything. Especially if I was a player, I'd be thinking about all that and thinking, I want to leave my mark at Middlesbrough by doing this. Like,
first team to win at Wembley.
100%. 100%.
Because like I say, yes, it was nice to win a major trophy, but to get promoted there, I think it's the best way you can get promoted in a playoff final.
Party in Wembley.
Yeah, it'd be brilliant.
It'd be unreal.
Now, obviously, going back to the Clayton situation in the midfield. I seem to recall when he was at Huddersfield and when we bought him, he was pretty attack-minded. He scored a few goals for Huddersfield going forward. So do you think that's something that's been coached out of his game since he came here, or do you think he's stuck in maybe a way of playing that he can't get out of now?
I mean, obviously, it could be a bit of both, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Tony Pulis, as we know, people say he's boring football and whatnot. So maybe he's come in and he's sort of coached. Maybe there's a few of the midfielders to go attacking, and maybe there's a few to be defensive. Who knows? But at the minute, like I say, I do want to see him a bit more attacking because I think Adam Clayton shines when he's more attacking than what he's defensive. Yeah,
good point. And obviously, just going back to the Leeds game for yourself, obviously, was that great on Friday night? Revenge sweet for you after November.
It was a sweet revenge, man. It was such a nice way just to see the 3-0. And when I look over at South Start, and obviously when I looked over the corner, I just seen the miserable face. They just put a smile on my face. I'm not going to lie, I just looked at it and I just thought, it's embarrassing the fact that you support Leeds anyway, but the fact that we've done you 3-0 is one of the best feelings in football, honestly.
But so obviously, we move on from Leeds now. We've got Birmingham tomorrow night, and as fate would have it, Gary Monk gets the job at Birmingham. His first game in charge is against us. You're going down there tomorrow night, mate.
I'll be there, man.
What sort of reception do you think you'll get off the Boro fans that are there?
I honestly think that'll be mixed. Because obviously, I don't think, obviously with the Boro crowd when he was here, Boro fans were fed up with him. So I think going back there, Boro fans could be a bit negative and Boro fans could be a bit positive. Personally, I'm going to clap the guy purely because when he came, obviously he spent 50 million. He tried to work with a team. He didn't really know where was to take it. You know what I mean? He didn't really know his tactics and whatnot. But he tried, you know what I mean? Obviously, I think him and his coaching staff gave it the best he could give. So I say tomorrow night I will applaud him. Yeah.
Did it surprise you, AJT, when he got asked to leave the club? Because I mean, that performance at Sheffield Wednesday, I would probably say I would put that not far away from our best performance of the season.
Unbelievable.
That day, they had a shaky start, but then after that, they dominated that game.
Second half was unreal, wasn't it?
So did it surprise you that he was relieved of the job?
Yeah, I see. Obviously, I get home and I see that he'd been sacked, and I'm thinking to myself, hang on a minute, you know what I mean? I was thinking the same as you. I was going home and I was raving over how good the second half was, and then you go and you see he's been sacked, and I kind of thought to myself, that's a bit unfair on him, to be honest, because maybe he was just finding things right at Sheffield Wednesday. Yeah,
we'll never know now, will we?
That's the thing, and it is a shame for him.
Yeah, because I think after that game, we were 2 or 3 points away from the playoffs. 2 months down the line, we're still in the same position. Exactly. And yes, that was a great performance the other night, but things don't seem to have changed massively since then. So obviously, he's got the job today, or there's been his first day at work at Birmingham today. Do you think his presence will have a bearing on tomorrow night's result?
I mean, it could do. I mean, the one thing I've been fearing since he got appointed was when a new manager steps in, every single player that obviously gets picked in that side, everyone wants to impress. Want to impress the boss. And I do feel like it's a lot harder now than what it was if Steve Cottrell was still there. Obviously, as we've already mentioned, their recent form's been absolutely horrendous.
Yeah.
And I feel like Boro would have gone there with maybe more than a chance of what we would with Gary Monk. Also, what kind of worries me is that he knows the Boro.
Yeah, he's brought a lot of those players in.
That's it. But I think I think a certain individual in that team tomorrow that can really prove a point. The likes of Ryan Shotton, the likes of Patrick Bamford, the likes of Dan Traore. Dan Traore and Patrick Bamford especially, because maybe it's proved. Look at Gary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point. James Maloney's come up with a good point as well. Our last visit to St Andrews was obviously towards the end of the promotion season, where it was a topsy-turvy game and we were robbed of the win with that Ayala disallowed goal. I think the linesman was from Burnley, wasn't he? So he was a Burnley fan. I mean, Football League, get that sorted out. Now, tomorrow night, what you're expecting tomorrow night?
I think it'll be tough. I do feel like Boro come out on top. And once again, I'm confident. But there is something in the back of my head telling me, look, don't be too confident because of the new manager situation. But I feel like Boro can go there, Boro can take a lot of positives from Friday night's games this one on Tuesday. For me personally, I think Boro can do this quite easily if we have the right mindset. Yeah. Obviously, one change that we all know about will be Adam Clayton in for Grant Ledbetter, but I do feel like Boro can really give them a good game tomorrow night. Yeah, no, good stuff. I mean, and it's so important now because I think maybe a couple of weeks ago people were saying there's just one place up for grabs with Bristol City in 6th spot. Derby is slowly getting drawn into it now, and it seems every year with Derby they get to February and they absolutely cave in, don't they? I don't get it. I don't get what goes on with them. I don't know if it's just the players who think, oh well, that's it now. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I do feel like Middlesbrough can be up there. I think Bristol City are doing fantastic at the minute. Pull off some great results, and like I say, I think Wolves have pretty much won the league. So it's just about for me. If Boro gets 6th, I'll be happy. To be honest. It's
at the end of the day, if you finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th, you're in the playoffs. You've got 3 games to get the Premier League. So take with it what you will then when you get there. But obviously, you've got Sheffield United, Bristol City, Derby, Preston are still hanging in there. So you've maybe got 4 or 5 teams battling for 2 spots. It seems at the minute. Are you confident we can make the top 6, AJT?
Oh man, listen man, I've always #bullied ever since the Norwich games. I mean, even in the Premier League, I believe that Boro can stay up. I never doubt the Boro, and I think that's because I love them too much, mate, if I'm honest with you. Like I say, man, I'm too positive, but it's the best way to be as a Boro fan, I think. I say, I'm very confident. I think, look at this month. For me, Boro should be able to pick up points against every single team and maybe 1 point against Wolves at the end of the season. My own opinion, because you look at the likes of Birmingham, you look at the likes of Barnsley and Brentford. Brentford are all right, but Boro being the team we are, and I think Tony Pulis now find his best 11, and obviously our style of play. I do feel like Boro can definitely get the top 6.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we've said tonight, and I know people have been on recently, and there's a few people that are chipping in tonight with some comments about. This month's an important month, March, isn't it? And like you say, this week is pivotal. I mean, you've got our game with Birmingham tomorrow. I think Preston are playing Bristol City tomorrow night.
Yes, they are, yeah.
Sheffield United have got Ipswich. So there's a lot of teams that are playing each other, and we've got Birmingham, Barnsley at home on Saturday. With no disrespect to these clubs, but if you're really serious about making the top 6, you've got to make a statement this week. And obviously, Tony Pulis has not won 2 games in a row yet as Boro manager. Don't want to put the jinx on tomorrow night, but this is the time to do it this week, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, it's almost like you said then, if you're serious about going up, you've got to be putting these teams to bed. Yeah. Because the Premier League's no easier than what these teams are going to come our way. So, yeah, I totally agree. But even if it's 1-0 from now to the end of the season, I'll take them. Exactly. Just to get us in that playoff spot. And
it doesn't matter how it comes or what type of football you play, it's just getting the results now. Absolutely, you're at that time of the season, it's getting the results. 1 or 2 people I've heard have mentioned things about, well, we don't want to go up because this team's not ready for it. Would you take promotion this season, or would you rather wait a year? What in your opinion?
I would take it. Yeah. I would take it. Going there all season long, obviously I don't think my heart can take much more, mate. I don't think I can do another season in the Championship. Being there all season and seeing the Boro, listen, it's been a fantastic season. But then obviously that rebuilding starts in summer. If you do go, bring the likes of Besic and bring in a few more exciting players and whatnot. Listen, anything happen. When you sort of look at Newcastle in the Premier League, Newcastle up there still, look how bad they are. So no reason why Boro can't do it.
Yeah, no. And like I say, you just got to take promotion when you can get it, because financially for the club, or if we go down again, it wouldn't be great, but the money it brings in is what we need, isn't it?
Parachute money, isn't it?
So before we go, we've got loads of people. Dean Wilson, the game will be all over by half time tomorrow night. I I don't know if I'm that confident, Dean. I like your confidence, so mate. How about you? Give us a score prediction for tomorrow, mate.
I'm going to go Boro 3, Birmingham 0, Bamford to get 2 and Traore to get 1.
Fantastic, mate. I like that. I think it'll be a tight one tomorrow night. I think we'll just come on the right side of a 2-1 win, though. So fingers crossed for 3 points for the Boro tomorrow night. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, AJT. Thanks, Boro fans, for watching us. Remember to like, share, subscribe to us on Twitter, Facebook and YouTube to be in with a chance of winning 2 season tickets for next season at the Boro. Fingers crossed that could be in the Premier League. Until next week, from AJT and me, Red and White, you and me.
Leeds now Boro 3, Monday 6.
BoroFanTV.